Level Up Latina partners with working women and mamas alike to guide them in achieving fulfilling career and life goals through financial empowerment, professional or leadership coaching, and personal wellness. Find the unique coaching you need to succeed.
You're listening to Vettel, Ceci, and Irene, and we are Level Up Latina.
Welcome to another episode of the Level Up Latina podcast. This is episode 340. Ya estamos en los 340s, cuarentonas y buenonas como nosotras. So today's episode is titled Friendships in Your Grown Señora Era, the Evolution of Friendships. Before we, get into the topic and start asking aquí mis co-hosts some questions that la chata me ayudó a, con some questions that chata helped me with. That's what I'm trying to say. Before we get into it, ¿cómo están aquí mis co-hosts?
Aquí bien asustadas leyendo lo que es el hantavirus.
Happy
to be with my amigas.
Yeah.
Girl, I'm just glad I'm not in there.
I know, for real. I'm good. I have family from Guatemala visiting. We've been tourists. I was in Hollywood yesterday, Beverly Hills. I ate sushi today, boiling crab today. Es un desmadre over here, but I love it.
Yum, I know. Sí vi en el chat.
Marisco time.
Yo no les alcancé a decir. I ate Mediterranean bowls. Algo fácil que I had a busy day today, but it was good.
Ooh, good.
Yeah, so today I want us to talk a little bit about how our friendships have changed from when we were in our 20s to when we were in our 30s, and maybe through when we got to motherhood, and now in our grown mujer era. I think when we think of friendships, many times we think that, and I guess this is culturally, I believe, but like por lealtad and la obligación, it's sometimes hard when you maybe in your gut it's time to kind of like step away, pero por la obligación or your mindset is like, we've been friends forever, I don't want to cut ties. But anyway, I wanted to bring this topic to the table so we can talk a little bit about our journeys with our friends, but also to make it normalize, I guess, the idea behind normalizing outgrowing people without guilt, like the same way we outgrow clothes in a way. Like sometimes, it's okay to say bye. And I know we both have, or all of three of us have stories about when that's happened, when we've had to kind of step away, and we've had friends that we've outgrown. So to get the conversation started, I wanted to ask you both if, when was the first time that you noticed like, oh yeah, my friendships are shifting a little bit? And did that make you feel one way or the other? Maybe happy, maybe emotional? Maybe you grieved la pérdida de esa amistad?
For sure.
When did you first notice that, some of your friendships were shifting?
For sure. I feel like when I was in college, I felt a lot of my high school friendships shift. And I felt a little guilty about it. And then I tried to bring both worlds together. And I did a pretty good job of involving high school friends in my college life. But then when I got married right after college and started to build like my life as a married woman, like friends really became people I had gone to college with. I live with college friends. Since I live with college friends, they invited college friends to things, and it became harder and harder to blend both my high school world and my college world. I do feel a sense of regret for that, because maybe I just was in the moment, getting married, being in love, my college friends being such a big part. I lived with 2 college roommates when I got married, and so I just was in that zone, and those were my people. And I probably should have done a better job of keeping those high school relationships going, and I just didn't. And now I look back, and many of them remained friends. I was thinking about it recently. A lot of them ended up being related, those that are friends. So that also facilitates it. Like somebody married so-and-so's cousin, these sisters married the same brothers. There's some of that. So I also see some people out of convenience, because I'm very close to people that married into our family from high school, for instance. And I do have some friends from high school that I'm close to, but again, it's proximity. Like they either live close, they married someone I know, they ended up going to UC Santa Barbara or something like that. But I think that was the first time I noticed that like it changes, and I wish it stayed the same, because I had amazing high school relationships, but I'd say now, and then one girl that I ended up being friends with really truly through the whole thing. She actually passed away and she was friends to all of us. And I felt she lived close. It also facilitated that. She had a child, my child's age, when I first had a kid. We just had so much in common. We traveled together, but then I lost her. And that's like, oh my God, she was my bridge to other people that I just had lost it with. Ceci, it just happened and I didn't have the connection. I don't know what happened.
¿Y tú, Vero? ¿Cuándo fue la primera vez that you noticed like, oh man, my friendships have shifted, and how did you feel about it?
I think it's when I came back from college. When I came back, maybe by year 2, I was glad that I maintained my friendships from high school. I still ended up hanging out with a lot of them, but a lot of our friends from Santa Barbara didn't move back home, right? They didn't move back close to me. Like even Irene, Lizette, and like the girls that, Sandra, you guys were living together. We really weren't in each other's like circle. I graduated a year after Irene did. So then the girls came down this way and they had their own plans. I was coming home and I knew I wasn't going to move out for a bit. But even then, like my close friends, like the proximity of friends from Santa Barbara wasn't around. I felt really lonely. So that shifted into getting really close with the UCLA Hermanas, right? Which really helped me in that process. But I think, it was around 2014, 2016 that I realized after that was the first change in friendships. One of my friends since 5th grade, we stopped being friends. I have no idea. I really don't know why. Because she was upset at our mutual friend. And then we just stopped talking. She just stopped talking to me. And I'm fine. You have to respect people too, right? And if I never know, I never know. It doesn't matter as long as it does her good. If it does her good, that's all that's important, right? And then I think in my 30s was the real changes, right? When I got pregnant with Gali, I was really close to my friend that I worked with at the jiu-jitsu place. And we just did a lot of stuff together. We did a lot of fun stuff together. She was like one of those ride or die. Like, hey, you want to do this? Let's go. Like just that hype person, you need it. But yeah, I think it's like, it happened after. And I still talk to friends from high school. I still have, my college friends, and I have you two girls that I see at least virtually, more often, than not. So, little by little, and they're not the same friendships. Like even the new people that come into my life, they tend to be like work relationships, work friendships. It's a lot harder, it's a lot harder to, we say hashtag no new friends, but I'm like, we have to be open. We have to be open because we don't see our friends all the time and we need, human contact in real life. But I think, I was like in my late 20s, my late 20s, 30s, where really, the shifting of friendships kind of happened.
For me, I think it was similar as like Irene with the high school friends where, I moved to Santa Barbara, and then even though we thought or I felt that we were going to continue being friends and still be in contact, and we were for the most part through whatever online chat, whatever we had, or emails. But I think because I was living further and making new friends, like we grew apart, and like that's when I noticed it. And I think I was okay. But I remember recently looking through like my high school yearbook, my senior high school yearbook, and with my two close friends that I had from high school, we wrote to each other, we still need to make that Cancun trip. And I was like, oh my God, I guess that was our plan, and it never happened. And I do realize that the people that I met in college, those are still like my homegirls, like you guys. But with, and these high school friends, I still, so on social media, we keep in touch and things like that. But like those girls, for example, that stayed local, they still are, close homies, hang out, they're in each other's lives, go to each other's kids' birthday parties. And again, for me, it's when, like, I think it's because we had different experiences. I want to say, like, those friends, maybe just one of them moved away from home, but one of them stayed. And so I was living in a whole other zip code, 4.5 hours, almost 5 hours away from Hayward, with new people, meeting new friends, and not really coming home that often. So I think that also made it hard to keep the connection there. And then I was having new experiences. Like you guys know, like we're living together, becoming adults together, going into these new life experiences together. And I think that's the foundation for me that made me realize, like, oh, these are the friends that I want. Like, I think, Irene, you put it you wrote this long memoir where a long time ago where you said, like, now I have a little girl and I hope she gets friends like I made at the dollhouse. Algo así, ¿te acuerdas? And so, yeah, like, this is so true. Like, these are the friends that I chose for life, the friends that I turn to, the friends that I am connected to, and the friends that I still, like, I don't know, I know they know everything about my life at this point, and vice versa. So with that, we're talking about outgrowing friends and distancing ourselves from friends. But when that has happened, what if any guilt that if there has existed any guilt because of that distancing or outgrowing of a friend, what has helped you navigate that without feeling guilty? Like la separación entre amigas.
I have a friend that I was super close to that my brother dated for many years, and we managed to navigate the breakup. But once he got some other girl that he actually cheated on that girl with, and got another girl pregnant and had a baby with her. Like, she was struggling to stay close to our family and be in my life. And she let me know, your brother caused me a lot of damage. I don't want to be in his world. I don't want to see his life. I don't want to see what you post about him on social media. And my brother was having a baby. So it was like, I wasn't trying to put that in anybody's face, but I remember reposting a photo that someone had posted of all of us going to a college match for one of my nieces playing soccer, and it's a big family photo, and that girl that was pregnant, the new girl, was in the photo, and it was reshared on my social media, and she didn't like it. It offended her, and I felt guilty because I was like, oh, I'm really stuck between two people because I loved her. My brother was kind of a volatile, toxic person. He was in the wrong. And my brother would always tell me to not be friends with her, not be friends with her, not be friends with her. And like very, very angrily and would say the meanest things to me. And I'm like, I have to compartmentalize. She's my friend. She's my son's godmother. I have nothing to do with your breakup. And I know he felt very like betrayed, but I kept telling him, I understand if you don't want your paths to cross. I respect that. I will never have the worlds come together. I will do my very best. So I guarded that friendship as long as I could. And then once he was kind of going into his happiness, having a baby, moving on, she didn't like it, and she did the right thing. She chose to tell me, be honest, upfront, and leave us behind, our entire family behind. She does still follow some of the nieces and nephews on social media, and everyone talks about how much they miss her and like her and love her. And when they see her socially, she was just like the funnest girl, and we loved her and we grew up with her. But I had so much guilt around it because I was like, what could I have done different? What could I have done better? But I think I would have been navigating it for years. It would have been hard for years, and I would never have been able to have them at the same party. And anything that went on with my oldest son, like his godmother couldn't be there because my brother might be there, or I would exclude my brother to bring her around. I would literally choose, is she coming or is he coming? And again, it's your family. So I navigated that guilt by recognizing that we have to be okay with the decisions we've made. She was okay with her decision and she was proud of it. And I have to be okay with the fact that it ended how it ended. I couldn't salvage it. There's nothing I could do to salvage it. It wasn't my fault that the friendship had to end. And maybe it was because she definitely was hurt that suddenly the new girl's appearing on my social media, and I could see how that could hurt her. And so I had guilt around that, like feeling like, oh, this one post really got to her. But it's true. You're watching someone move on and them have a baby with someone else. So friendships are so complicated. All that to say, tip of the day, friendships are complicated and they're going to change. They are going to change. This girl and I were friends when we were in high school. I met her in middle school. She was in love with my brother since middle school. She saw me go through college. She fell in love with all my college friends. She's close to our friend Summer Rudia still because they would go to concerts together. This girl's in my world, but she's not in my world because there's a sever and there's a reason for it. And my brother's my brother, and he's the chosen one. And my niece is my niece. I remember being super pumped about having my baby niece, and I was in my brother's world, and I was happy, and I had to make the decision. But I felt so much guilt at the time because I felt almost betraying a friend of like 16 years by loving my niece. Because you know what all of us felt? That she should have been having his baby. That's the truth. And if anybody hears this that knows exactly what I'm talking about, everyone felt like the wrong girl is having my brother's baby. But then you think about it, no, he treated her like crap. He cheated on her. He didn't love her. He didn't respect her. He didn't treat her like he should have. He shouldn't have cherished her. So as much as all of us wanted her to be the one having the baby, It's meant to be, but it's meant to be. Funny enough, my brother ended up not being with that girl after a month of the baby being born. My brother has been a single man for several years and has his daughter, and there's no relationship there with the woman that ended up breaking all the friendships apart. That, again, because this girl that was not married into my family was everybody's friend. We lost her. We felt guilty. We thought about it. We replayed it, Ceci, like, how can we navigate it? And in the end, you look back and you think, I just couldn't have navigated it. Like, we weren't meant to be friends, and I had to be okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. And like you said, it's complicated. And sometimes you have to choose family. And it just, it makes sense.
Even though the friends are cooler.
The friends are cooler.
Yeah, the friends are funner. The friends are nicer. Like, my niece I never chose.
How old is your niece now?
Gosh, my niece is like 12 or 13 now. This was years ago.
Time flies.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Super.
Sí.
Está bien linda.
Super.
Bien
She's
linda
worth every heartache that ever was. She's worth everything because we love her. My mom loves her. Everybody loves her.
I remember el columpio que le hizo tu hermano. I remember cuando estábamos chiquitos.
His world is so changed because he has a daughter. My mom's world too. It's a really beautiful thing, honestly.
Yeah. ¿Y tú, Vero? How did you navigate, if any, guilt that you felt when that, a distance scene happened?
Girl, I've had my heart broken so many times.
Oh, Vero.
I've had my heart broken so many times that I think there was like no guilt really. For me, it's like the way I treat a friendship is the way I treat my relationships in general. Like, I'm thankful they came. I'm thankful I experienced it. I'm thankful that we were able to spend that time together. And it was just not meant to be a lifelong friendship in that sense, right? They come to teach you certain things. They come to remind you certain things. And for me, it was more of like, well, maybe it was like when I mentioned about my friend Jackie, right? Like, we're not friends. Like, she doesn't talk to me, and that's fine. I always thought we're going to be friends for life. Our kids are going to be friends and all this stuff. And then it's like, I don't even know her children. Lord bless her with twins, super cool. De distancia, I'm super happy for her igual, right? Because we still share the socials and we still share friends. But I'm like, it's okay. Like, it's totally fine. I still talk about her. I talk about her mom to people, right? Because they're Salvadorans. So I'm like, I know about El Salvador. I know about this because of because I grew up with them. I see pictures and I see her little sister and I see her as a kid still, So little things like that, I feel like there isn't guilt. It's more of like, I'm so glad we got that time together. When it happened with her, when it happened with my other friend, and then there's friendship that you just distance because of, life happens, when it just feels like you pick up right where you left off. Like, this week I'm going to attend my friend Letty's dad's funeral, right? And I've known Letty, we've been friends since high school. We've been in each other's lives. Her dad recently passed. Y le van a hacer el velorio this Thursday and the 6th and the 7th. So, I'm going to see her. I'm going to get to see her. And I haven't seen her in a couple months, but she had life happening as well, right? We had things just happening that we have not been able to connect. And I'm going to see her. And I'm excited to see her. And but it brings me to that I could be there during this time of pain as well, right? Because we think of our friends. You think of all the great times. But we are lifelong friends, you guys. We're in that stage of our life where we're going to, we're saying goodbye to our parents. And these are friends that we've, that have met our parents, that have experienced, life with, with our friends, and they're like, ¿con cuál amiga vas, And y Ceci, la de los ojitos chiquitos, así que es, sí, de las gemelas, ¿verdad? Like your mom, your parents find ways to describe your friends, right?
Chulo, yeah.
Like, con Irene, sí, la muchacha bien platicadora, ¿verdad? Ay, sí, con su mamá me platicó tanto así, y luego sí, que, like, and they have ways, right? They have ways to express who your friends are. My friend Alba will forever always be Alma in my mom's eyes, right? It's Alma. No,
she's
mami,
Janet
Alba.
to me,
Sí,
that's my
pues,
cousin.
Alma.
That's my cousin.
Oh, that's your cousin, So it's just, little ways. But I think I'm just grateful that those people, because they're awesome people. They just don't happen to be in my life anymore. So, it's kind of like, hey, it's cool. Life is going to be good to you. It's good to me. And I'm glad we experienced a period of life together.
You see. I couldn't think of like like a friend that I lost like big time. I thought something of like junior high, and I was like, okay, eso no. And then the only other thing that I thought, and you guys know this story, was my roommate in college that I stopped talking to her because she kissed the guy that I was dating at the time, and how desde ahí se perdió la amistad. We ended up not living together the next day, and the way. Like it was like a breakup. It was like a huge breakup. Like now looking back at it, it was a huge breakup because I was like living with this girl, and then I didn't know how to like approach the situation at that time, and then so I don't know. I think one of the ways that I helped navigate was that I had some cheerleaders saying like, you need to like confront this person, and like no nomás lo dejes así, and one of them being Irene. Irene estaba allí. I don't know if you remember. And so looking back at it now, it's like, okay, pues eran, problemas de chiquillas, de problemas de, de college students. And now it's just like, of course, ya lo superé, and I've forgiven. And of course it's ya nada que ver. And, when I see this person, I talk to her. But that was the only friendship that I was thinking about that, that se perdió la amistad, digamos, that was it. But to get to my next question, and it kind of ties a little bit into my story again from college, is what are your non-negotiables now in a friendship in your grown señora era? What is something that you wouldn't tolerate? For me would be like, ahora de casada, like, que no le coqueteen a mi marido, like mujeres que hay, and they'll do it, and it's just like disrespectful. So that's something for sure not negotiable. And I want my friends to be authentic. Ya no estamos para estar, with the fake stuff, and no estamos para esos trotes como dicen por ahí el dicho, but just not the fakeness. It's like, I am who I am. Let's be authentic. Let's be friends, and that's it. What about you guys? What are non-negotiables in friendships these days?
I can tell, like, if I feel like someone makes me feel not good about myself because of their own insecurities, super boundary, like right away, like that's their thing. So I don't necessarily need to cut you out of my life, but I will distance myself if I'm not your cup of tea and you make me feel less than, because for whatever reason we're like supposedly friends, but I'm rubbing you the wrong way and I can see it, I will create distance. I will do that with family too. I have no problem distancing myself, because I always, like I tell my family that struggles with interpersonal things, be where you're wanted. Be where you feel wanted. Be where you're made to feel good. I have I come from a huge family. So like my nieces and nephews and cousins, and we're all like friends in so many ways. And there can be issues there. And I always try to remind those that are having disconnection and making each other feel bad, or indirectas, or saying things, I always say, be where you're wanted. I had a niece that overheard one of my nieces tell her mom, like, oh, I didn't invite her to the party. Like, don't tell her. And she heard that. She heard, like, I wasn't and those things hurt, and people repeat them. They come and they tell you. And I remember feeling like, I know that happened. That sucked. But be where you're wanted. You're in my home right now. You're being loved by us right now. And you're being invited. And I do that with my friendships. I don't tolerate if I feel like I'm not wanted. If I feel like and for whatever reason, maybe it's something I'm doing that comes across that someone doesn't like, then I put the distance where it needs to be, because I want to feel good where I'm at. So that boundary is important to me. So see, I live by it, that I like to give that advice to other people too, that I see them struggling with trying to keep relationships that make them feel bad about themselves, or trying to keep relationships because we're family, or trying to keep relationships because we've been friends forever, or we work together. Like, you can be cordial and kind. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to have problems, but you don't have to let someone have access to your life if they don't make you feel good, as a friend should. And I think that's a great lesson for my children. I want my children to see that I have boundaries with people that don't make me feel good, or are not a good example for me. My son, funny enough, was just driving home with me by himself right now. The whole family stayed behind at dinner, and he was telling me it's the first time a young kid recently offered him drugs, like happened to have drugs, a kid they don't usually hang out with. He tells me so comfortably. He tells me so confidently. My son talks to me so well. And I just love that. I don't act like I react like it's negative. We have such a good relationship. And he's like, I felt so proud. You'd be so proud of me, Mom. There was this other friend so-and-so. He did try it. He's like, he doesn't do it a lot. Don't worry. And I never really around that other kid, but he did it. He offered me because he looked like he was like on drugs. I think it was like a vape that had like weed in it. So my son was telling me the story, and I just love that. Like, he was telling me about interpersonal challenges, about having to say no, about will he be around that kid again? And he's going to need to get glasses. My kiddo, he found that out earlier today. And he was reminding me of another friend that has glasses and shaved his head off. And he goes, yeah, that friend, he's really changed. And he hasn't been hanging out with that friend for a while. And I'm like, something's going on. And I'm like, what is it about him? He's like, well, he's the king of vapes. He has vapes everywhere, like too many vapes. And I'm like, how do you guys even get a hold of him? He's like, people have plugs like on social media. And we're just having such an honest conversation. And I had that epiphany the other day. Like, he's not friends with that little boy. Like, something changed. One of the two of them went on a path that no longer connected them. And the minute my kid got independence with this e-bike, suddenly he wasn't hanging out with that friend anymore. And now everything's coming to light that friend is sort of, and it happens to all middle schoolers. There's going to be a batch that are going to do drugs. Newsflash, parents listening. Happened to us in middle school. It's happening to kids now. And friendships matter. Does your kid have the backbone to be like, I'm going to go with the flow? These kids are going to make me feel like they're kind of bringing me down, but what can that? I don't want to model that for them, Ceci. And so I don't tolerate the things that I don't want them to tolerate. And it's really paying off when I hear my kid talk to me about actual scenarios of like life and kids and paths, and this one has a girlfriend and that one doesn't, and that one's trying drugs and this, that, and the other. That's where friendships and boundaries start at that age. So I'm really working on it at my age because I see that they're watching us.
I love it, for sure. Y son little esponjitas, los hijos. Yeah. Y tú, Vero, what are your non-negotiables?
Vero's like, they have to do drugs.
Yeah, I need a release, man. I
Vero's like, can they send them to me to offer them?
Those vapes. Confiscate the vapes from these children. No, but you know me. I've been there, done that. It's fun. It's fun. I don't shame anyone for it. It is what it is. And it is what you make of it. But I think for me now, it's more of like, I don't know. I don't like to waste. No tengo tiempo. No tengo tiempo, so don't waste my time. Like, but if I ask, show up, right? I don't ask a lot. I don't ask, I'm not someone that typically complains. I'm not someone that typically asks for help. I'm not someone that would, hey, what are you doing this day? And then nada. So I think instead of like ghosting me, just be like, hey, I can't today. How about this? And like coordinate with me, because we know that time is of the essence, right? Like we're not young anymore, and we have a lot of stuff going on. And I think for me, it's like when I have a moment, I want to be able to spend it with people that I love and I care about. And then I've adopted this term from, the outside world, the non-Latino community, the chosen family stuff, right? The chosen family. And I think for a lot of us, our friends are that, right? Our friends become that. And I think and in some friends, like there's that dynamic, like of the sisterhood, like siendo hermanas. Like, ay, no te hagas pendeja ya, ¿verdad? But sometimes we feel like we can't talk to our friends that way because I se van a ofender. But I feel like I could totally be like, hey, fast, I need to see you guys, Like, I just need some friend time. Help me, no se hagan güeyes. But I think it's just, I don't have, it's making sure that the time that I do spend with friends is not wasted on just anything, but like a simple cafecito, even if it's 30 minutes, that you're present, like being present, not just haciéndose güey uno.
I like that. And that actually answers like my last question was like, how do you personally maintain connections with your friends? Like, how do you, continue that bond even with life happening, work, everything? So su cafecito, checking them like, hey, I need friend times fast, right?
And being real, like in the sense of like, I'm having a really shitty time, you guys. Like, I'm having a shitty time. I've told you ladies, I've shared it with you ladies. I'm like, I'm having a hard time just staying organized. I'm having a hard time really doing this or going on that walk with, and I actually was talking to a client today. That's why I couldn't do, if we're going to record, I was like, I actually recently booked a client. I had not taken on any clients, right? And she was referred to me by one of my old clients. And she was kind of like, hey, I can also do tomorrow. And I was about to like change, like, okay, sure, let's meet tomorrow, right? Just to be flexible with her. But then also like, it's Monday. I have a lot of stuff to do too. I can take advantage of that extra hour to just, but I was, no. If I said if I couldn't record at this time because I had a strong, I'm like, no, we're going to stick to our meeting, right? But in that conversation, I was telling her that I have had this weighted vest, that I've been wanting a weighted vest, and then I got it for Christmas. And it is now May 4th, and maybe my cuñada is listening to this, too. Cuñis, I love you, comadre. I still haven't used it. So I was telling homegirl, right, my client, I was like, you know what? Why don't we do this together? Because you need somewhere to process your thoughts. I need to just wear this weighted vest because my bone density and I hate muscles in my body and I don't have an hour to work out, right? So let's do the weighted vest thing and let's walk around the block a couple times, 30 minutes max, and that's it, right? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to start doing that to hold her accountable, but I have to hold myself accountable to it soon. So in this case, I lost my train of thought, Ceci, but I think at the end of the day, you kind of have to do the things, right, that are, I lost my train of thought.
The question was like, how do you maintain, the connection with your friendships?
Oh, well,
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And just being real, I really need this. I'm having a fucking hard time. Simple as that. Like, you guys know, I've been having a hard time getting back into this workout journey. And I'm like, I was an athlete. Well, I'm not anymore because I haven't worked on them forever and I haven't done these things in a while. But it's being real with what we need, right? There's things that we can't get just from our husband or from our parents or from our kids. There's this other level of, and I've mentioned this before, of remembering who the F you are, right? And then our friends have a way of like, why are you doing that? No seas torpe. Like, that's not you. Like, that doesn't serve you. So being very honest up front and being like, I need you because I am having a hard time. And I think it's okay to say that. So that helps me kind of have someone like, oh, yes, let me show up,
Yeah. What about you, Irene?
I'd say that I maintain my friendships by traveling with my friends a lot. It's just kind of the thing we've done. That's been our theme. We'll get a chance to travel. Hosting friends in my home. I have 2 girlfriends coming over on Saturday. And just trying to be the encourager. My husband is the ultimate encourager. And he's a very self-assured man. He's always been such a good example for me his whole adult life. Because he's the kind of guy that'll plan fun things all the time. He's the reason we went to Cosm for the first time. He's the reason we're like at Plant Bingo. He's the reason the other day we went to this really cool place called The Obscure and you learn about drinks and it looks like you're like in this crazy dark gothic place drinking, learning about drinks and music. And these are always things he comes up with. Like he will say, what couple? Let's tell them, blah, blah, blah. He's such an encourager. And I've learned that from him. So like during COVID, we had another couple that we found that was like our pod and we would do these alphabet dinners and cook dinners from different countries based on the alphabet and we couldn't repeat a letter. And someone's making Russian food and someone's making Hawaiian food and someone's making Peruvian food and going through the alphabet. But anyway, that encouragement, that creativity, I get it from my husband. And I didn't realize. I mean, I was always a rendera and I love the fun. I love to be social in college and I was down. I had the car. I was down to do fun stuff. He's a very thoughtful and creative person and he wants to do fun things with people. And he'll say like, who should we invite now? And like Otto and Beto were in our rotation for Cosm once. They happen to be busy, but it's like, yeah, let's tell them and we'll do. It's like never like a dull thing. It's like a fun, exciting thing. Right now he has people over, in fact. But that encouragement goes a long way because you can't hold it against friends that just don't. And, I've had my own kids tell me, like, sometimes I'm the only one that plans it. It's like, own it. Don't resent it. Like, if it's okay to be that person and to do that, Ceci, to be the person that owns sort of the one that says, let's do something, right? Let's do this. Let's follow through on this. Let's do this. Like, we're going to have our Disney date, right? Let's coordinate that. Let's figure it out. And what's the date? Ceci, you're pretty good about trying to figure out the date. But creating those opportunities to have that moment. Is it travel? Is it a girl night? Is it a vision boarding night? Is it this new hotel? Is it this new experience? And I think experience se presta for relationships growing and building, as opposed to just kind of coming over and being in someone's house, right? Where sometimes it can be not experiential. And experiential, you bond over that stuff. You bond over these fun and crazy things. We just took like 10 friends and family to visit my son for a football game for his college that has like a big football program. And we now look back on all the fun things we did. And one of the coolest things was like the 10 of us in an escape room. because we delegated to everybody come up with something fun, and somebody came up with escape room, which half of us had never done. One of the funnest things was our Taco Bell run a las 3 de la mañana. I mean, one of the dumbest, craziest, but these friends like laugh all the time about this Taco Bell run. So those moments, Ceci, experiences together like grow the bond, I feel. So having to be a person that does that, comes up with something, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this. Our friend's getting married, and I told her, like, we'll figure it out, I'll plan it, I'll get us organized, we will go. She wants to go to Saint Tropez, we'll find a way. And so being behind the scenes to do the legwork, to get everyone on the same page, to get the vote, to do the research, I'm that person. Like, we'll find a path forward, and we'll have that fun. So that keeps relationships going, because you always need friends that do that without resent and want to and are creative. And I wanted to give my husband the credit, because I've never met a more thoughtful man. I've never had someone's husband ever in my life reach out to me and my husband and said, guys, I want to do this, I'm going to get the tickets, this is what it costs. My husband's probably done that 5 times this year. Like, come up with something fun and come up with people to invite, and he led it. And I think it's such a cool, wonderful, self-assured trait to be like the encourager of fun and the leader of activities. And people don't do that. People don't do that anymore. I don't feel we do that. Maybe people listening do that, but I don't see husbands doing that. And it's such a good example.
I love that. Yeah. Own it if you're the planner. I tend to be the planner with my cousin's annual retreat, or like push the, ¿cómo se llama? The needle. Like, all right, ahora te toca a ti. What are we doing? Who wants to host it? That sort of thing. And then I think all 3 of us for sure do this. We send each other like memes, especially if we come up with, we see something that is, relates to something we were just talking about. Like, that's hilarious. And then also sending people random texts. I like to do that when I'm doing my spring cleaning and I come across like a photo from like 20 plus years ago, and like nomás mandárselas, amistades. Ada was doing that a lot to me recently. Like, she was finding all these things that we wrote as co-chairs with the HAU, because she keeps everything,
Oh my God. Yeah. She sent me a bunch of stuff too.
Oh my God, ya me hice verde. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I think everyone has their own way of connecting and maintaining those friendships. And again, it's totally, totally okay to step away from friendships that are no longer serving you. And if you've distanced yourself, or it's just like, it's not your person anymore. So it's okay. So hopefully you picked up a couple nuggets as to how to maintain, that it's okay to outgrow, and to be intentional with your friends overall. If those are the friends that you want to keep. So that's a wrap. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for listening today. Let us know which other ways, what ways do you keep and maintain your friendships? If you want to keep the conversation going or want us to talk about a specific topic, our email is admin@leveluplatina.com. And then our handles are at Level Up Latina on Facebook and Instagram. And if you want to learn more about our guilt-free squad, about our one-on-one coaching, our website is Level Up Latina. So that's a wrap. Thank you, ladies, for being here. And thank you for just being my friends.
Thank you.
Thank you for being a friend.
Thank you.